All right, let's just jump right in. I want you to picture something. We're talking 17th century India. This is a time of massive, powerful empires, right? You've got these sultans with huge armies deciding everything. But then, out of the rugged hills of Maharashtra, this young man comes along, and he's about to challenge all of them, building a kingdom from basically nothing and, yeah, changing history forever. And that quote, that pretty much says it all. This isn't some fairy tale about a prince who just gets a kingdom handed to him on a silver platter. Nope, this is about a rebel who built his own. So you gotta ask, right? How in the world did he actually manage to do that? Well, like all great stories, it starts with a single idea, a dream. And this dream wasn't born in some fancy palace. It started up in the hills, a world away from the big, powerful empires. So, Shivaji was born in a hill fort back in 1630. And let me tell you, his upbringing was not your standard royal education. His mom, Jijabai, she was incredible, always telling him these epic stories of bravery. And his teacher, Daduji Khandio, he taught him all about strategy, leadership, the art of war. So by the time he's just a teenager, he's not just a good fighter. He has a mission, a real vision for the future. And that vision, it had a name, Swarajya. Now, you really got to understand this word because it's the key to everything. Swarajya wasn't just about, hey, let's get rid of the other guys. It was a totally radical idea for its time. He envisioned a kingdom based on self-rule, on justice, and on dignity for every single person. I mean, that's a huge departure from the way things were usually run back then. So with this incredible idea driving him, Shivaji didn't just sit around and wait for someone to give him the green light. No way. He started acting on it immediately. He began making his dream real, one fort at a time. And get this, at just 16 years old, he takes his first major fort, Tarna. And he just keeps going. Kandana, Purandar, Rajgad, they all start to fall. But here's the kicker. He's not doing this with some giant, overwhelming army. He's using his brain, his deep knowledge of the land, and a totally fresh way of waging war. Yeah, his signature move was guerrilla warfare. He basically turned the hills and forests into his greatest allies. He'd use these small, super fast teams to hit the big, clumsy imperial armies hard, and then just, poof, vanish back into the landscape. Hit, run, and strike again. It was absolutely revolutionary, These empires were used to lining up for big, formal battles. They had no idea how to deal with this. Okay, so as you can imagine, this teenage rebel starts making some very powerful people very, very angry. The massive Adil Shahi Sultanate, they decide, all right, enough is enough. It's time to squash this little rebellion for good. And to get the job done, they don't send just anyone. They send their top guy, Afzal Khan. This dude was a legend, a huge, experienced general. On paper, this looked like a total joke, right? A seasoned giant going up against a young rebel. In fact, Khan was so sure of himself, he invited Shivaji to a private meeting, but his real plan was to kill him. But here's the thing about Shivaji. He was nobody's fool. He totally smelled a trap. So he shows up prepared, not for a friendly chat, but for a fight. He had this brilliant idea to wear chainmail armor under his clothes, and he was hiding a special weapon, the wagnak. We're talking literal tiger claws. So just as predicted, Afzal Khan makes his move, tries to stab him, but clink, the knife hits the hidden armor. And that's when Shivaji strikes back with the tiger claws. He completely flips the script. This one moment, this insane victory against all odds, it just spread like wildfire. Suddenly, Shivaji wasn't just some local problem anymore. He was a legend. Okay, so taking down Afzal Khan was huge, but it also put Shivaji on the radar of someone way, way bigger. We're talking about the Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb, literally one of the most powerful men on the planet at the time. This was going to be the ultimate test. So in 1666, using a combination of clever politics and straight-up trickery, Aurangzeb pulls off what no army could. He traps Shivaji. He puts him under house arrest in the city of Agra. Think about that. He's hundreds of miles from his people, totally surrounded by his enemies. It really looks like it was over. The dream of Swarajya, dead in the water. But once again, Shivaji proves he's the master strategist. He pretends to be sick, and as part of his recovery, he starts sending these huge baskets of sweets and fruit out to local temples every day. The guards just get used to it, right? Oh, there go the fruit baskets again. Well, one day, Shivaji and his son climb inside two of those baskets and are carried right past the guards and out of the city. Unbelievable. For weeks, he traveled in disguise, making his way all the way back home. I mean, the sheer guts and brilliant planning it took, it's no wonder this is still one of the greatest escape stories in Indian history. The emperor was completely humiliated, and the rebel king was free once more. And that escape? It changed everything. Shivaji came back not just as a guy who got away, but as this larger-than-life figure. It felt like destiny. The game was no longer just about surviving. It was about building a real nation. And that's exactly what happened. In 1674, at Raigad Fort, he's officially crowned Chhatrapati, which means sovereign king. It's official. The rebel leader is now the king of a brand new independent Maratha kingdom. So, what's the first thing he does? He gets to work securing his kingdom. And man, was he a builder. He built and strengthened this incredible network of over 350 forts. And you have to understand, these weren't just walls and towers. They were the backbone of his entire nation, a symbol of its power standing strong against these giant empires. And this is where we see that Swarajya thing wasn't just some catchy slogan for a war. He actually put it into practice. He created a powerful navy, which was super rare for Indian rulers back then. He completely changed the tax system to make it fair for the farmers. He brought in rules to protect women, and he made sure all religions were respected. He was really truly building that fair and just society he'd imagined as a kid. So when Shivaji died in 1680, you might think, okay, that's the end of the story. But it wasn't. His kingdom didn't fall apart. In fact, it exploded. The foundation he laid was so solid that the Marathas ended up becoming an empire in their own right, an empire that would go on to challenge the mighty Mughals and shake them to their very core. You know, his life is just this incredible proof of an idea. It shows that you don't need to be born with a silver spoon to change the world. If you have courage, a brilliant mind, and a real belief in justice, you can build something that truly endures. And that really leaves us with something to think about, doesn't it? Shivaji's life gives us one blueprint, but it makes you wonder, in any time, in any place, what does it really take? What are those core ingredients? The courage, the vision, the sheer will to build a nation from absolutely nothing.